Witch of Jasmine, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a reading for Aquarius moons. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. We're getting right towards the end of January, which I am very excited about. I'm not a big fan of January. I'm not a big fan of winter in general, but it's nice. We're already getting through the first month of the year. I think it feels really good. So, oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So, anyway, I was gonna say, as I'm shuffling out these cards, I invite you to take some deep breaths. They're coming out extremely quickly today, which is good. I like that. But anyway, take some deep breaths. Ground yourself, center yourself, relax, get comfy. Okay. I don't know why our light's not really burning that well. My little candle. Okay, well, Aquarius moons. Let's take a look at your cards. So for the Oracle card, we have Trust. Now that's interesting, but I'll get to that in a second. All right, let's take a look at your tarot cards. We have Ace of Wands reversed, Death, Ten of Swords reversed, the Seed reversed. I think that's how you pronounce it. aka Temperance reversed. The High Priestess. And Ten of Chalices reversed, aka Ten of Cups. Okay, well, the one thing I want to say first, I don't really think it's coming through in this reading too much, but in my full moon reading that I put out sometime last week, this was one of the cards that came up, this Trust card with Basil. And when I was doing that reading, we also had the candle, this very dim, not burning very well. So I do feel like this reading might be connected to that one in some way for some of you. I don't think that this is like necessarily connected. For reference, that reading was about a relationship, struggling with that. So if you haven't watched that, you might want to go ahead and peek over there if that's what this reading is about for you. But not necessarily. I think that's just for some people. So what we're talking about here is some sort of new chapter, some sort of new beginning of something. And there's Halen. Everybody say hello to my executive producer, Halen, my cat. Given that we have this Ace, 10, 10, as well as Death, and even this High Priestess here, it's definitely feeling, she likes to hang out right there, so we have to accommodate and move all of this. You know, Death, I think, is a pretty well-known tarot card, right? And where Death itself is a symbol for rebirth right? A new chapter, becoming a new version of yourself, or a situation kind of being seen in a new light, right? But specifically with this card, in this depiction of it, we have this rope, right? Oh gosh, please don't eat my card. She did that once before in one of my videos. She just took a little bite out of one of my cards. Anyway, where we have this figure here who's holding this sword, right? And oh, please stay away from there. So there's this sense of like finality with it, right? Like once this cord is cut, it cannot be uncut, you know? Please don't. I know she wants to bite it. You know, there's really like no going back after this, right? But being that it's upright, I think that's something that is going pretty well and pretty smoothly for you. So that's good, but we do also have some challenges happening. I will say with this Ten of Swords, yeah, I'll show you this one up close as well. Ten of Swords is exactly what it looks like, right? It's this person who's just like face down on the ground with 10 swords in their back, right? It's about betrayal, being stabbed in the back by somebody. But I do really like seeing it reversed, because that tells me that this is something that, even though you had this big like betrayal kind of moment, possibly with somebody or some situation where you were very blindsided, having it reversed tells me that you're in that healing phase, that you're starting to move on, or maybe you have been moving on, have been doing growing and healing from it. Because of course, as you can see, even though that all happened, this person is not dead, right? They're not out of the game forever. They're reaching their arm back out to get back on that broom and do something else, right? Move on to the next thing. So, and when we have that reverse, that lets me know that that's what's happening. So that's really, really good. I think in particular, what changed here is indicated by this Ten of Cups reversed. It tells me that there was this feeling of what you thought was going to be happily ever after, what you thought was going to be like it for you, might not really be happening. That's what ended, right? A relationship that you thought was going to last forever, or at least just like a really long time, you know, that not really panning out, or a job you thought you were going to stay at for a long time didn't work, or a dream that you had didn't pan out, or some thing you wanted to do ended up not being what you thought it was. Something along those lines. That's what this is telling me, that this is referencing. I think part of this transformation that you are going through, this rebirth with this Death card, the High Priestess tells me that I think one thing you were meant to learn from this, a big lesson from this, is about going with your gut. How, learning how to listen to your intuition and trust your intuition, which sometimes just means trusting yourself and listening to yourself just in general. I'm wondering if this was a situation where like you kind of knew that this might happen, but you were like turning a blind eye and like, well, maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it'll be all good. And then when it happened, you were like, yeah, I knew it. Yeah, that's what my gut was telling me. I should have known, something like that. So I think that's a really big thing to take into mind here, is this High Priestess energy and how you can use that going forward with this rebirth, right? That would also explain why we have this trust card here, right? Learning to trust yourself like that. Because that's not easy, In fact, lots of people feel like they were taught to not trust themselves, you know, depending on the kinds of relationships you've had. There's lots of people who will make you think that what you're feeling is not what you're feeling, right? You're feeling something else. So I just feel like taking control of your own thoughts and your own feelings by, number one, learning to hear them and listen to them and feel them. And number two, learning to trust them, trust yourself like that, is very, very powerful for sure. So I think that's a really big thing that you're meant to learn here. So going forward from this, we have this Ace of Wands reversed with this Seed reversed, aka Temperance reversed. I think if you want to continue taking steps forward, one really big thing that you should take into account or think about is balance. And more specifically, maybe there's some imbalance going on in your life. And given that we have the Ace of Wands reversed, that makes me think that this is some sort of actionable thing. Like, I'm thinking like some sort of work-life imbalance, right? Like too much thinking and not enough doing, too much doing and not enough thinking, whatever, something along those lines. So what this reading is really recommending you to do moving forward is to maybe just consider if there's any parts of your life that feel out of balance and if there are any things that you can do to improve that. Oh my gosh. Okay, this I want to be really careful with how I word this. But because I don't like really talking about mental health issues necessarily in my readings, because I'm certainly not a professional and tarot is not a replacement for real, genuine mental health issues or help or anything like that. But I will say with this section here, it's making me think of this concept that I'm not educated enough to really get into detail about, but it's something that you should look into because I feel like that's what this energy is giving. But it's this cycle of having like a depressive time. It's this cycle where it starts with like depression or something, where you're like in bed or can't get out of bed or you're tired, you know, just kind of dragging yourself through life, not able to do all of the things that you need to do. Which then leads... Halen. Sorry, Halen's starting to be a menace. She gets in these moods sometimes where she won't let me focus on what I'm trying to talk about. So start with that like depression stage, and then it moves on to an anxiety stage. Sorry, I'm probably cutting a bunch of parts of her out. Anyway, then it moves on to this anxiety stage where, you know, you've been sitting in bed or just not able to do things you need to do enough, where all of these things start to like stack up on each other because you're like falling behind. So then you get this sudden burst of energy to like do everything, right? Fix your entire life in a week or whatever. And then as you start doing all of that, it leads you to a burnout, right? Because you're trying to do too much all at once, which then leads you to a depression from that burnout, right? And it's this cycle of depression, anxiety, burnout, depression, anxiety, burnout, all of, you know, over and over and over. That's what I feel like this is. And again, this is not something I'm educated enough to talk about, but it's something I would recommend you look into. I think that might help you with this, but because that's just the energy that this is giving. So I would highly recommend considering that kind of concept and looking for ways to find more balance with all of that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I can see why the cards flew out so quickly because this is definitely a lot of energy, but it's very productive and I hope a very encouraging energy. And I hope this gave you a little bit of clarity as to what direction to go. But if you have any questions about this, or if you'd like any part of this clarified, please let me know. You can leave a comment, or you can just reach out to me, whichever you prefer. But Aquarius moons, I'm wishing you so much luck with all of this. None of this is easy. I don't want to make it sound like it is. I know it's not, but I'm wishing you lots of strength to get through it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Oh, featuring a little Halen sneeze. Okay, bye.